All right, Reggie, the front row report here. I got Rob from Mindset Evolution. How's it going, man?
It's going great, man. Thanks for having me on.
Awesome, man. I appreciate you taking the time to talk to me, Sydney. Just like we were talking about a couple of seconds ago, it is a crazy busy time for you guys.
Yeah, it's been a trip. I mean, you I guess put it in kind of into perspective. We were just turning wrenches on Caterpillar tractors here in the Midwest like 2 years ago. So it's like it's been crazy. It's been steadily growing and building over the last year and a half, 2 years, and it's awesome. It's really cool to be part of this.
Yeah, it's cool to see everything growing for you guys the way it has, and it's as rapidly as it has been over the last year or so. It's cool to see that happening from this end. I can only imagine what it's like on your guys' end of things.
Yeah, I mean, to sum it up in one word, it would have to be unbelievable,
Okay.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, you got the new album coming out this summer. Brave, Bold, and Broken. Man, I had a chance to check the album out, and man, I can't get enough of it. I absolutely love it. So.
Wow, man! Thank you.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yes. When is the album releasing? I've heard a couple of different things.
When is the actual release?
Yes.
Oh man, I wish I knew. I know it's supposed to be this month, and we're running out of Tuesdays in June. So I don't know. I would have to guess the last Tuesday of June, and unless things happen or whatever. But it may, if it ends up getting pushed back, it won't be pushed back too long, hopefully. But I think that it'll be out the end of this month.
Awesome. Yeah, I can't wait for the public to hear this album. It's I saw you guys on Uproar Festival. I think it was last year. You guys on Uproar Festival last year? I think I remember catching you guys on that as on one of the side stages, and definitely one of the more energetic and standout bands from the side stages and from the early lineup on that festival. You really stuck out. And you guys won the Uproar Battle of the Bands in 2011, and so ever since then it's been a bit of a crazy ride for you guys.
It has been. It's surprising to I guess when you're an independent band and you're looking at the industry. I mean, you feel like you're kind of looking at this, indomitable fortress with locked windows and locked doors and all these people inside that are keeping the secrets to themselves. And, it's scary and daunting and frustrating. And, it's really kind of a strange thing that we all have as independent artists, the way that we see it. And then the truth is exactly the opposite. Now that we're in the industry, we won that Battle of the Bands, and there were just so many people ready to bring us in and sit us down and talk to us and coach us and give us guidance and give us tips and help grow us. We made some fantastic friends in the process, and it's been snowballing. Like the guy that arranged all of the Uproar, he was working with us one-on-one quite a bit and coaching us and mentoring us. And we went and recorded with Jay Baumgartner out in L.A. and did this 5-song EP. And he loved the 5-song EP, so he takes the 5-song EP and he hands it off to one of his friends, Roxy, at Hard Drive. And then Roxy loves it, so then Roxy gets excited and hands it off to Prospect Park. The Prospect loves it, and they get excited, so they come down to Peoria to meet us. And, just one thing after another, and it turns out that it's an industry filled with people that are very, very passionate about music and very, very passionate about rock and roll, and it's amazing. It's awesome to be here right now.
Wow, man, that's crazy how all that happened just like that over the course of just a few years, man. That's crazy.
I know, it just seems like just yesterday I was beating my head off my basement wall trying to figure out why we weren't moving, and it's pretty crazy.
Man, you said that you've had a chance to make a lot of friends in the industry and you've had a lot of advice and coaching over the last few years. What has been the standout to you that you've been told, that somebody has told you, like advisory wise? What's the most important thing that somebody's told you so far?
Be honest. Be honest about your approach. Be you in the music, which is something that we never we never really, I guess we took that for granted because we've never really had a problem with that, I guess. Like we never tried to be anything. We're the kind of band that, we pick up our instruments, and not to sound too artsy-fartsy, but we pick up our instruments, and our instruments tell us what to do, and we listen to them, and they guide us through the process, and what it sounds like is, at the end of it, what I think is probably the most honest approach to music that we can do. And that's it. That's what they always say. That like the music is the most important thing. Be yourself. Be honest, because people can smell the bullshit. So we just we adhere to that, and we took that very, very serious, and we always have our whole career, and we'll continue to do that. And hopefully, it pays dividends.
Nice. And Brave, Bold, and Broken it's a very honest album. It's full of energy. The lyrical quality and lyrical content is very strong and very open. And straight to the point. And so it looks like you took that advice in stride and really, really transformed that over onto the album.
Yeah, I think I'm more proud of this album and the way that it turned out for us than I have been. Like we did 3 independent records before we got signed here in the Midwest, and our fan base was very supportive and bought a lot of those CDs and really believed in what we were doing. And I always kind of had a very almost folk style of writing where it's not really buried in metaphor and veiled intent. It's very, very genuine, very straightforward, and I think I like to write that way best. I like to challenge myself. I like to say it differently than I have before or than I have heard, but you can't always win that battle. But like we've been talking about, the most important thing is to be honest. And I think for me as an artist or as a writer, it's just so easy to look at the world around you, to meet new people, and in that interaction with that person, everybody has a story to tell, right? Mm-hmm. So you let them tell their story, and sometimes that story is extremely inspirational to find out what they did to overcome the obstacles in their lives to get where they are, or what happened to them in the past that they were never able to overcome, and that's why they are where they are, and then to take those stories and tell them in songs. I've probably written more songs about other people than I ever have about myself, and I just tons of people that are walking around out there not knowing that I've written a song about them, because it's just awesome to be able to translate that, to understand it, and to learn from it, and put it in your own personal tool set. And I want that to come across in the music, and I think we do a pretty good job of that.
And I think that when you do that with your music and your writing, I think that it doesn't take much for people to pick up on that. People are fans and music listeners, and rock fans, and even in general, are they're not stupid, and they can tell when someone's being honest and when someone's just writing a song to write it. And I think that when you put your heart into an album and you're honest, I think that it makes for a better album, and it makes for a better experience with the fans.
I think it's brilliant that you just said that. Absolutely brilliant. Like that's one of my biggest things is I don't know, like what seems sometimes like it's contrived cookie cutter music, and I mean, it's very hard. There's always going to be somebody that doesn't necessarily appreciate what it is that you're doing. So I'm sure at some point somebody's going to say the same things about me. But I just, I think it's just so important to be real and to actually write, and to try to write, and to try to communicate, because you said that they're not dumb. The fans aren't dumb, but there's this kind of perception that bands almost need to dumb down what they're doing in order to reach the fans. But for me, growing up listening to music, listening to like Maynard James Keenan, everything that he ever touched was brilliant, and you don't ever see Maynard James Keenan out there explaining his lyrics and his content. You see people devouring it and trying to decipher it, and I think that's such a big part of the musical, like the symbiotic relationship between artist and listener, is getting your own interpretation of what they're writing that affects you personally, that changes your life in whatever fashion. Music has changed my life, my entire life, for exactly that reason, for feeling like I connected to a song. And I wouldn't want the artist to tell me, no, I wrote it about this. He's like, well, then that takes away the connection, So I think that's brilliant. I'm glad you said that.
thank you. And speaking of Keenan, I mean, his lyrics are so in-depth and metaphorical and complex that it's almost, in a lot of ways, it's just hard to tell what he was thinking when he wrote those lyrics anyway. He's just such a strong songwriter. You know, they could mean so many different things. One of the best songwriters of our time, I think.
Oh, yeah.
But but speaking of songwriting, with the lead single "Burn It Down," how important is that first single when you're getting ready for the full length debut? How important is that first single, choosing it and choosing when it's released?
I think it's all important. I think it's kind of like, it's almost like I wouldn't say it's the most pivotal decision you're going to make, but it's a very pivotal, very important decision. And I think it took quite a bit of back and forth between the label and us, and our sounding boards that we had around us at the time to kind of decide what that lead single was going to be. I mean, we flip-flopped between 3 songs for a while, and I think it came down to really wanting to say, this is our color, this is who we are, this is what we're about, and this is as real as it gets. I mean, there's not a fake song on the album, but that's a very, very real song, and there's a lot of purpose and intent behind it, and the energy is indicative of what you'll see when you see us play live. So it's kind of our way of sonically saying, this is what you can expect from us, for the rest of our career. And that's not to say that every song is that aggressive, but you'll always have that passion and that energy that I think this song does such a great job of conveying.
Oh, absolutely. And with the release coming, you guys have already had one hell of a year. Rock on the Range, Rocklahoma. Rock on the Range is probably my favorite festival, personally, out of all of them. But, and then you guys have played some shows with Korn and Buckcherry as well. Does it get any better than that? I mean, Rock on the Range, Rocklahoma, Korn, Buckcherry, it's already been a crazy year.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I actually, I think when we first started, like really dreaming bigger than our local venues and our region, and we started dreaming about the U.S. and maybe the world one day. I remember our goal was always to just tour the nation one time. That was always our goal, and that was as good as it could get. Like, that was everything to us. Like, we just want to meet our fan base. There's a fan base looking for bands, and there's a band looking for its fan base. And when you get out there and you get to tour the whole nation, you get to meet that fan base, and that fan base gets to meet you, and you find each other, and that's when all the magic starts to happen. So for us, that was like the end-all, be-all, and we got to do that last year on Rockstar Uproar. Mm-hmm. So when you ask me if it can get any better than it has, I have to say absolutely it does, because for us, over the course of the last 2 years, it has just consistently, continually gotten better and better and better and better, and I cannot wait to see what the next year and 2 years bring for us in this business.
Yeah, man, I mean, if it's been as crazy as it has, and the debut hasn't even released yet, I mean, only God knows what hell is going to break loose after this album releases. It's I mean, it's crazy. I mean, just looking at everything you guys have done, you would think that you guys were an album or two into your career so far. And the debut is just about to release. It's crazy. It's awesome to see something like that. This doesn't happen every day.
No, I keep telling people, are like, what's it like? What's it like? What's it like? What's it like? And I'm like, I don't know what it's like. It's like being that lottery winner. Like everybody has heard of that person that won the lottery, but nobody actually knows this person.
Right.
And that's very much what it feels like now. Like it very much feels like we won the lottery, and now we're out here doing it. But we do have a lot of people that know us in our Nerd Herd, our Mindset Monkey Mafia, and the Mighty Midwest here. We've been friends for quite some time now, so it's awesome to get to do this in front of our fan base, and how our fan base holding us up on this lofty dream called rock and roll. it's unbelievable, and the response, to the record so far has been awesome, and the response to the single has been awesome, and the response when we go play live has been awesome, and it's just been a whole lot of awesome, man.
Yeah, man. I mean, and the Midwest is the perfect place for everything to start too. I mean, there's just something about rock and roll in the Midwest that it's not like this in other places. There's just I've heard a lot of bands say that the Midwest is the heart and soul of rock and roll in a lot of ways.
That's beautiful. Yeah, I've always believed that way, and we have so many great bands here still that are struggling, and you got that that Midwestern blue collar, like, backbone of America, grease monkey wrench turning, at all costs I will get it done mentality here. It just, I think it translates so well to rock and to the soul of rock, and I think that's why it works.
Absolutely. Now, I gotta ask, after the release, what's next? What does the rest of 2013 hold for you guys?
Well, we're starting to see new tour dates trickle in. We've got a nice run that's going to start sometime like end of July, and it's going to take us all the way through the beginning of October, and we're going to go across the whole U.S. once again on this tour, and then of course the album release itself, and hopefully we'll get to maybe either end out this year or start next year by touring overseas and doing some bigger tours and bigger festivals there, and just keep growing, and just keep going and finding those fans.
Awesome. I like it. Sounds awesome. I hope I can get out to one of the shows this year or next year. If you guys come close to Indianapolis, I've got to be there. So
I will let you know. As a matter of fact, I think I may have seen an Indiana date on the working itinerary, so we may have to make that happen.
We may have to make that happen. I like the sound of it. Thank you so much for taking the time. I really appreciate it, Rob.
Reggie, thanks a million, dude. I really, really appreciate it also, and I look forward to meeting you face to face.
It'll happen. It has to.
Yes, sir. All right, you have a great day.
You too, man. Thanks a lot.
Later on.
See ya.